Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video series showing you a little bit how to play Blitz, A World in Conflict. I think it's a really nice game. It's actually, it's really easy and you really get that strategic level feel. I used to play World in Flames when I was young. And this is definitely scratches a bit of that itch, and you can actually play it. World in Flames, that would be great to play that, but it takes so much time. As you can see, it's tough being Japan. This time it worked better than last time when I played. Last time I tried to take midway and really hold focusing a lot on the fleet, which made China really strong, because I couldn't keep China from building stuff, and the flying tigers became really big because that's one of their reinforcement units. So it was really hard to keep picking in the end, and yeah, they just became really big problem. So this time I thought I should try to keep them down, which worked okay. But I think now that they have an armor, and if I would just succeeded with the strategic bombing here as Japan, that would have made things much easier. But unfortunately that didn't work out. And then, as you can see, trying to hold these islands is really tough as well. So what I think the Japanese player would have to do in this case here is to go into some kind of defensive mode, just protecting Japan, protecting the oil, trying to not lose as much naval unit as I did last turn. That was a bit bad decision making on my part. I should have just concentrated the fleet to make it a little bit more tricky for the US player to actually decide whether or not to risk his fleet or not. Now I made it easy for him to just pick off my fleet. Okay, so if I'm the US player now, I think last turn went fairly well. I now have a base in Mindanao, so I could start putting some pressure on South China Sea, which is really central for the Japanese. I can rebase my fleet here. This is also a minor port, but still there are lots of ports here now. This is Japanese, right? Still Japanese. I think we took that. So yeah, taking Hollandia. Start using the submarines to put pressure on the Japanese production, and really try to force the Japanese player out of the war before they start accumulating points. Because if Japan can survive until turn 11, they will get 1, here they will get 2, here they will get 3, and so forth. So they can accumulate lots of points towards the end of the war. So by just keeping more pressure on it, I think that will work out for the US. Yeah, I think it's a really nice game. I haven't really played the whole war yet, but I think that this scenario shows a little bit of both. You have both the naval and the air, and a little bit of land area combat. So I think it's a pretty nice way to show how the game works. And the rulebook is really tough to follow. I think the idea to use an introduction with you play one scenario, then you learn some rules and so forth was a good idea. But the problem is that some rules are a little bit different in these scenarios. So it's not easy to just read those scenarios and play. You kind of have to read a lot of the other rules as well. And it's not very clear in the rulebook where to find everything. So the rulebook could definitely need some work, but once you have if you're a wargamer, you will definitely be able to understand the rules pretty quickly anyways. And the support at Board Game Geek from the designer is really great, so a lot of the questions are answered there. And well, the components, I think it's just, I don't have anything to complain about really. I mean, they're standard wargame components. They're not as thick as GMT's game, for example, but they definitely serve their purpose. The big ones, some of the counters are so big. I think it's really nice for the full size fleets and units to be big, but all the control markers and these markers and the convoy destroyed and everything, they are also these huge counters, which makes it a little bit more cluttered. I think I would have liked them to be small counters, maybe even smaller than the small infantry counters. That would have been nice, I think. Overall, I think it's a really nice game and it has lots of potential, so I will be happy to continue playing it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you later.